And here will be our basic delay effect on the C5515 DSP board. So there will be this file, basic delay, and we're defining here a buffer with a max buffer length. So in our case it will be a 0.5 seconds. Here I am defining an auxiliary function to convert seconds to samples. So if a person tries to put a value higher than 0.5, it will limit to the max buffer length, which is our buffer is defined to have a maximum of 12,000 samples, because we are using a sampling frequency of 24 kilohertz. And if it's a value smaller from 0 to 0.5, we convert these seconds to number of samples. Here is our delay line, so it's very similar to what we did in Python. So we have this index, we have the delay buffer defined here that we're going to use. We are using this modulus operator. We are doing exactly the same thing what we did before. And here is our basic delay effect, and we are using our delay line or circular buffer. We have again our before delay and after delay, and then we have our outputs is the after delay times the wet mix plus the input times the dry mix gain. And this is how we are going to implement on the C55 Easy DSP board. Here I am on the Code Composer Studio, and we have our basic delay effect. So the thing you need to do is the same like before. You start a new project, then it will create this folder, and you copy the files from the zip file to the folder. And then we'll have all this. So if we take now a look, we have this basic delay, and we are defining this maximum buffer length is 12,000. Here is our delay buffer. Then we have this is a function to clear the delay buffer. So later on, if we want to vary the amount of delay up to the maximum, so if we want to delay not by 12 samples, but we want to 12,000 samples, but we want to delay to 6,000 samples, we can do this by changing some parts of the code. But it's good to have this possibility to clear the buffer before we change the value of the delay. We are not going to do this on this example, but this function is already here. Here is the function to seconds to samples that we discussed it before. Here is our delay line, and here is our basic delay effect. Here is the header file for our basic delay, and here on the main we see is very similar to the previous example. I still need to change here because now we are on the delay effect. So we have this basic delay effect. We have some welcome message, that is tutorial 5, and it will be that the first state is converting from stereo to mono, and the second state is the basic delay effect with 0.5 seconds. So is this the same like we did before? We use this push buttons, so you can change the state by pressing the switch push button 1 and 2 for up and down, and you can reset both pressed at the same time. Here we convert from stereo to mono. So if the state 1 we just have stereo to mono, and on state 2 we are calling our basic delay effect, the mono input, and then the values. We have the dry mix gain, the wet mix gain, the feedback loop gain, the delay in seconds, and the sampling rate. So this is the example for the basic delay. and you can build the project. So here the console we have the build, and we don't have any problems, any errors, and then we can run this on the board itself.